Hello there, and today on the video we're going to be talking all things HOA. I'm going to have some tips and tricks for what you need to know and investigate if you're considering buying a property with an HOA. My name is Catherine Haggerty and I'm a real estate agent in sunny Southern California. As most of you probably know, HOA stands for Home Owners Association, and they come mostly with townhomes and condos and planned developments. There can be a few other instances, but generally that's what you're going to find. They provide a lot of amenities sometimes. Sometimes they don't have very many amenities at all. But it's really nice when you'd like to live in a community that has a pool, that maintains the grounds, that has sometimes a patrol service that goes around the community. And HOAs are made up of the homeowners in the group, and they're the people that live in the community. The HOAs are responsible for the CC&Rs, which are the conditions, covenants, and restrictions. An HOA will have a management company that is used to enforce the CC&Rs and also to manage the money that is charged for the HOA. This management company is going to be extremely important when you're considering buying a property with an HOA. What you're going to want to do is get the name of the management company and the assistant manager. You're going to want to contact them because you're going to want to ask some questions and find out just how well that property is managed. I'm going to give you 7 important questions and information that you're going to want to find out so you can evaluate if you really do want to live in this community. Number 1 is just what are the amenities? Because the more amenities you have, generally that's going to be a larger HOA fee. So if there are a lot of beautiful green belts that make the property so beautiful, guess what? It needs to be watered, it needs to be mowed, it needs to be maintained. So there's going to be an expense for that. Also, if there is a pool, you're going to have the cost of maintaining the pool and the upkeep on the pool. If there is a pool in this community, your next questions are going to be, how old is the pool and how is it maintained? Are there enough reserves set aside for routine maintenance to take care of the pool? Those are very important. Because if there are not enough reserves in the fund of the HOA to pay for repairs on the pool when they come up, guess what? That means you are going to be assessed a special assessment, and that's going to create an additional expense on your HOA. Did you know that you can ask the management company for the reserve report, and then you'll be able to see what's going on and if there's extra money there for routine maintenance? Number 2, speaking of assessments, you're going to want to ask, are there any assessments on this community? Now, you might think, oh my God, there's an assessment. That's a bad thing. That's not necessarily a bad thing because sometimes life happens. There's a condo complex up in Oak Park, California that they had during one rainy winter. They had a hillside slide, and that wasn't expected. They didn't have reserves set aside for a hillside to slide, so they did have a special assessment. That is not really a negative on the management of the HOA, it's just life happens. Going back to our pool explanation, an example of a bad HOA would be a company that did not have the reserves set aside for routine maintenance, whether that's repairing and putting a new motor in for the pool and that type of thing. So if you live in a cold area, there's also winterization of pools that need to be done. So, these are all things that are on a normal basis. If you own a pool, they're going to be done. So there should be reserves set aside for that. Number 3 is, are there any litigations against this property? Now, it may not necessarily be a bad thing. You just need to see what the litigation is. But be forewarned, sometimes if there is a litigation against a property and you have to get a loan, you're borrowing money, a lender may not lend money on a property with a litigation. So it's important to ask your lender about that as well. And if there are pending litigations against a property, you may not want to buy in that property anyway, and you may want to move on to the next property. So just talk to your lender about what their restrictions for lending money are. I had a client one time, they were actually doing a refinance, and we got to the property pictures, and guess what? This was a dome type home. So like one of those ones that look like they're gonna have an observatory come out. And the lender actually said, you know what, we can't refinance this property because we don't do these types of structures. So I had to actually take my client to a different lender so that they were able to refinance. Number 4, how much are the HOA dues? When was the last time they were increased? How often do they increase? Have they ever been decreased? Are they billed monthly? Are they billed quarterly? Are they billed yearly? Is there a special HOA fee additional from the monthly fees that are assessed each year? These are important things to know. You need to plan for your budget so that you know what you are going to be spending monthly. So it's important that you find that out and dig a little deeper into the HOA and ask the management company. Number 5. Okay, so you're going to want to find out what insurance company is covering the property. So ask the management company what company do they use and give that company a call, because you're going to want to ask them what's covered. Does this coverage add value to you? Usually the coverage of the property is for the exterior only, but you need to delve into it. Does it cover flood, earthquake, fire? Not always will it cover those type of things, but check. Maybe it adds value, and find out exactly what's covered and what you're going to need to be responsible for as well. Number 6. We're on to number 6. Who handles the maintenance of the property? Remember we talked about if there was grass, who's going to be mowing it? Usually it's going to be handled by the HOA, but you know, once in a blue moon you're going to run into a complex that does not. My mom had a cute little townhouse complex with 6 townhouses and just little slight green belt, and they were responsible for mowing the grass in front of their condo. So you're going to want to find that out, who is responsible for the maintenance. Most of the time, but not always, the HOA will handle all of the exterior, the walkways, that type of things. Numero 6. Are there any rental restrictions? You might be thinking, Catherine, I'm going to go live in my house. I don't care about that. Well, let me tell you, you may, while you're living there, decide that you want to keep this place and move on to the next one. And you know what? A lot of people do. They rent them out. And that's great because you can start a rental portfolio. However, there are complexes that have rental restrictions. So if you can't rent this out, you're going to have to sell it. So you might be an investor and you're thinking of buying properties. You need to make sure you can buy and rent it out. Or maybe you're thinking, I want to get a little condo over at the beach and do an Airbnb, or get property near one of the colleges, universities around here, and then rent it out short term. Or you need to make sure that you can do short-term rentals if you're thinking about doing Airbnb. Some complexes have long-term rentals only, meaning you can only rent to people that are staying there for a minimum of a year. Miami, Florida is a big place where you cannot do short-term rentals. So just know that going in. Okay, rental restrictions. Okay, so I said 7, but I'm gonna give you a bonus. Number 8, and my favorite, make sure Fido can come live with you. Sometimes they have restrictions on breeds and size of your pets. So for like me, I have a pit bull and he weighs 80 pounds. For some complexes, they're not gonna let Frankie come. So that would not be a place where I would want to live. So just know that, because I would hate for you to close escrow and then, God forbid, have to give up your home, because I would never give up my Fido. But anyway, just know these questions. Go in and do your due diligence. This is your responsibility. Talk to your realtor. Let them help guide you, but you are responsible for your own due diligence, okay? And hopefully these tips and tricks for HOA questions will help you when you're looking for property. And if you're ever thinking about moving to sunny Southern California, I'm your girl. Give me a call. My details are down below. And I really appreciate every time you come and check out what's on the channel. If you have any ideas or topics you want me to cover, please leave me a comment below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. I really love that you're on this journey with me. Take care. Bye.